Okay, today we are watching a program called The Loaded Gun. This is definitely a red based on the title. The Loaded Gun, this is another Jam Handy organization published all the way back in 1958. And I have to imagine this is one of those safety programs that would have been shown to kids to not, shoot themselves or something. I don't know, but I have to imagine that's what this is. I don't quite know though, so let's dive in, shall we? Oh man, your General Tire Dealer presents. That's kind of a funny sponsorship. Your General Tire Dealer. So is General Tire a brand, or is it just saying like, yeah, like any tire dealer, like just every single one presents, like General Tire must have been a brand. Oh God, and we have the shelf, right? So hang on. I already know what we're looking at now. Like this is the classic example of like the kid getting into the gun drawer and using the gun, right? Like this is the key in the lock, they're opening the drawer and there's going to be a gun inside and something bad is going to happen. I wonder if this is going to be monetizable at all, or if this is just instantly demonetized. I wonder if I'm going to get caught or not. I don't think anything bad is actually going to happen in this program. We are just going to have bad things suggested to us, but even the title alone might get this demonetized. We'll see. Frank Blair, noted news commentator in. All right, so Frank Blair is probably the voice that we're going to be listening to. I've never heard that name, but maybe that is like a noted news commentator. Yeah, here's the gun right here. It's crazy. You would just have your gun on top of your shirts. Like, here's a button-down blue-collar shirt and your gun on top of it. Like, you would really store it like that? Where's the bullets even, Like, are those a different drawer? The Loaded Gun. Yeah, there you go. The music, I do kind of like the suspicious sort of music. All right, here's the question, right? Already we have a kid reaching out and grabbing dad's gun, presumably. It could be mom's gun, but I'm going to assume it's dad's gun. And here's my question is like, is this a real gun? Did they actually have a child like wielding a real firearm on set to film this? Because that is kind of crazy. You do have accidents on sets with guns like this. So it's just, I wonder if this is a real gun or not. It looks to me like a perfectly real gun. It doesn't look fake at all. So it could be, but it could also just be a fake gun. Of course the kids are wearing cowboy hats. That's so accurate. Like, that is the sort of thing they would be playing and they would want a gun for. And he's just pointing it straight at this other kid. Yeah, this is already giving me anxiety. I really don't like guns. I'm not a hunter. I got nothing against hunting, but I don't like guns. So this is sketching me out for sure. Like, don't just point it at him. Like, the thought is, the reason I wonder if this is a real gun, because he is literally pointing it at this kid's face, Like, if there was just anything that went wrong by accident, like, oh my God, Like, it's just so, I can barely look. What is this? Mr. Bean came up behind him or something? I would run too if Mr. Bean came up behind me.
Scene like that does things to your stomach, doesn't it?
Seems like that does things to your stomach. That's funny. That's funny how they give us a weird smile after doing all this.
Because it can and does happen. I didn't know the gun was loaded.
I didn't know the gun was loaded. That is like, that statement, that deserves to be on a plaque somewhere. I didn't know the gun was loaded.
How often have you heard that expression?
How often? See, that's what's crazy though. Like, in my life, have never actually heard of a kid getting shot by a gun because they took dad's gun out. But during this time, that must have actually happened, a lot. Like, I'm sure it still does happen. But I didn't grow up near the sorts of people where that would happen. But like during this time, that was a lot more common. A lot more sorts of people had guns in their, clothes drawers. So that is fascinating, that the fact that this presentation exists at all suggests that this was a true, real problem that plagued America, that kids were going into their dad's or their mom's gun drawers and just shooting each other by accident. You know, like, that is just crazy to think that that happened so many times that Jam Handy felt the need to make a whole program warning kids against it. You know, like, that's really what this reveals, is how often something like this actually used to happen, which is terrifying.
How many heartbreaking tragedies do you suppose it has caused?
Yeah, that introspective moment of just taking the key out of the dresser, like, that's all it would have taken to prevent your kid from getting their face blown off, you know? Like, I get it. I get that this is very heavy-handed because we really don't want our kids to be shot by our other kids.
But let me show you something else. In each of these cases, somebody didn't know it was loaded. Somebody thought he was driving a safe, dependable automobile.
So the comparison we're making is guns and cars. That's pretty interesting because you need a license for a car, but maybe not a gun. I honestly, I don't know though. I don't think I'm allowed to buy a gun. I think I bought something from a store here in New York that made me not allowed to buy a gun here in New York. I don't know if I should say what it is, but like, I'm pretty sure I'm on the list of people in New York not allowed to own a firearm. But I do drive a car still, so that's fine.
But he wasn't. In each case, a mechanical defect made that car every bit as dangerous as a loaded gun. In each case,
interesting. A mechanical defect made these cars every bit as dangerous as a loaded gun. I don't quite get the purpose of this metaphor yet.
the defect that sent people to a mangled, screaming death.
Like a defect, right? A defect in these cars caused them to kill somebody, but a loaded gun, I don't know. I don't see a defect in a loaded gun.
In a masted twist of steel like this was the same. Tire failure.
This is interesting that we're getting to see car crash images from the 40s or 50s as well, right? Maybe, yeah, the 50s. Like, I don't know, like the fact that this is what a car crash used to look like. I don't know. That's sort of not how they look like nowadays. I don't know. Like, I feel like we designed cars differently to crumple in different ways. Like, I feel like this is illustrative of a time before we figured out how to crash our cars properly.
In one single year on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, 50% of
Pennsylvania Turnpike. What's so funny is I was literally on the Pennsylvania Turnpike driving yesterday. I drove about 2 hours on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. There are crazy numbers of tolls on that road, by the way. Do not, if you don't want to have to drive on the Turnpike in Pennsylvania, don't do it, because there's a toll like every 5 miles or something. I'm so amazed that I was on that turnpike just so recently.
all accidents due to mechanical failure were traced to tires. And the shocking thing about it is that those were not necessarily old, worn-out tires. Many of them were brand new.
I thought this was about a loaded gun. I don't know why we're learning about car tires. This feels very much the previous video we watched. This feels a lot more, what was it, Taking the Air or something? Like, this feels like it deserves to be in that program a lot more.
You see, the job we expect our tires to do has changed tremendously over the years.
It's funny that he's standing in front of this car to talk about like their modern car understanding. Maybe this is like establishing the beginning of cars, and he's going to walk and there's going to be like older, more modern cars.
But not all tires have changed with the job.
Wow, look at that tire. That's like a crazy future tire or something. That doesn't even look like an effective tire.
This 1920 tire
Oh, okay, so yeah, even to them, this is an old tire. Okay.
carried a car weighing about 1,400 pounds at an average speed of around 30 miles per hour.
Dang, an average speed of 30 miles an hour. That must have been like, I mean, it must have been faster than like horses, so it must have felt fast for the people of the time, but like, that sounds infuriating to me now, going only 30 miles an hour. Like, let me tell you, the speed limit on the Pennsylvania Turnpike is 70 miles an hour, and I was going a little bit over the speed limit, so maybe I shouldn't say that, but let's just say 30 miles an hour is very slow to me.
Today's tire carries a car weighing up to 5,000 pounds.
Oh yeah, General Tire. That's funny. That is just a brand. Is General Tire still a brand? I feel like Goodyear replaced General. Maybe it's the same company or something, but I feel like Goodyear, I don't know. I just, that's all I gotta say. That's the only tire brand I actually know about is Goodyear. So I don't know. I don't even know why I'm talking about tire brands in a program about a loaded gun.
At speeds of 80 or 90 miles an hour. Our drive.
Now we're going for a drive. Like, how complex is this comparison that we're making to guns that we need to go on a ride along? You know, like, I thought this was about guns.
Driving habits have changed too. Turnpikes and expressways move
Dude, what's so funny is the turnpike looks pretty much exactly like this too.
us at speeds undreamed of a few years ago.
Oh, what the funny part is you can see the speed limit is 55 on the turnpike. Now it's 70, like I said earlier. That's so funny.
65 million cars now jam the highways.
65 million cars? That's actually like a lot more than I expected for this time. Because how many people are in America? Probably like 150 million, maybe 200 million.
With more coming every year. Cars moving 3, 4 abreast.
This is a cool shot. This is reminding me of the video Patrick Willems made recently of shooting cars on film. This is another aspect of cars on film, but not how you would expect. You know, this is a very interesting shot for this sort of, I don't know, movement. It's a very interesting shot.
In both directions, only inches apart.
Watch Patrick H. Willems' video on car cinematography, and you'll understand why this is interesting to me.
The slightest error, the slightest deviation across that white dividing line could mean...
It's actually a yellow dividing line. You can even see it's yellow in this. I feel like I need to correct them.
Instant death. City driving, even though at lower speeds, accounts for 3 times as many accidents as country driving. But wherever you drive...
Why are we learning about driving? Like, I really hope they tied this back to the loaded gun. If this whole thing is just about driving, I'm gonna feel pretty dumb.
City or country, the crux of the whole thing rests in your tires. 4 layers of fabric and an inch or so of rubber.
4 layers of fabric and an inch or so of rubber? What fabric are they putting on these tires? I thought it was all rubber.
Let one of those tires fail, and the car you drive suddenly becomes the deadliest weapon ever devised by man.
That was actually a pretty intense scene. They had some good action shots in there. That was like, that got my heart rate up a little. Even still, with all the crazy editing I've seen since then, that was still a pretty well shot and executed scene.
The next film you see was made exclusive.
Dude, is this like Ronald Reagan or something? Like every half second he looks like him, but every second he doesn't.
For tire designers to study, and has never before been shown to the public.
Oh, cool. Never before been shown to the public. You guys are seeing this for the first time ever then.
On the high-speed test wheel at Akron, Ohio.
Akron, Ohio. Wow. Shout out to Akron, Ohio. Shout out to my Akron boys.
Is going 120 miles an hour. Traction drag has distorted it completely out of shape. Will literally tear it apart in a...
I like how they use the term literally. Like, that is a part of, like, English language at this point. You know, like, even back then, they were saying literally. Like, I feel like people criticize people who say literally. I say literally a lot, too. But I feel like I try to use it properly. Like, I actually try to say it when it is literally meaningful to say it. So... I don't know, but I think it's funny that they say it in these old programs as well. Like, it's part of American lexicon to say literally.
A matter of minutes. The impact of a chuck hole hit at high speed, though barely felt within...
A chuck hole, that's what he said. Oh, maybe like a woodchuck. Maybe they're driving on like a dirt road and it's actually like a woodchuck hole. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just a pothole. Dude, look at this road. It's a gravel road. That's so funny. It's not even a paved road.
In the car, pancakes the tire clear down to the rim. Is it any wonder a tire...
Dude, that little slow-mo shot, that was filmed in slow-mo, but it was only like 50% slow-mo.
Must have tremendous built-in strength to survive the shocks it takes. The brakes don't stop the car. They only stop the wheels. The tires stop the car.
Okay, the wheels don't stop the car, the tires do. I don't know why I have to think so much about this. Let's just keep going.
The very very best you can buy is little enough when you consider how much depends on your tires. What a beating.
You know, all right. I just understood it. I just understood why we're talking about tires, because this was presented by Your General Tire, right? Like this is just a sponsored message for tires, but I think they're going to tie it into guns still. I feel like we just spent the majority of the time of this program talking about the tires of your car because this was sponsored by a tire maker, but I think we need to get to the actual plot sooner or later, right? Like those kids with the gun. This is called The Loaded Gun. Like why? I don't know. I think I understand why we focused on car tires of all things in this episode, but I just don't know how it's allowed to dedicate more time in a program to the paid sponsorship than the actual story or narrative at play here.
They have to take. And the best in tires is General's new Dual 90.
Oh, so yeah, they're not even trying to hide it. This is just a sales pitch for General's tires. And like, what? How dumb? Like, this better have something interesting at the end of it. I feel so dumb showing you guys this if otherwise.
The revolutionary new kind of tire with the striking dual tread design, the strongest, sturdiest tire ever built, bar none. This young lady's entire weight is supported on 4 slender threads.
I like this though. I like how the concept of a tire swing might have been invented by this woman testing the strength of tires. Obviously, maybe not this woman specifically, but like it seems like, I don't know, maybe they had already got tire swings figured out, but is this how tire swings used to be? I feel like tire swings, the tire is usually horizontal and you sit in it like that. You don't sit in it like through it, like vertically. Like this is like a prototype of a tire swing, if you ask me. This is not the final product of tire swings that I know. This is not my father's tire swing, that's for sure.
Of Dual 90's Nigen cord. 50% stronger than nylon of the same size.
Nigen instead of nylon. This is another material that's even stronger than nylon. See, this is also what makes watching these old programs so fun. It's just learning about these old materials that I've never even heard of before. Nigen, stronger than nylon. Like, interesting. I wonder, like, if that is still in use.
Her weight hangs on these threads now. Her life may hang on them later. You saw the distortion in the other tire produced by high speed.
Bro, is this all going to be about tires? Is there nothing about the loaded gun? Or is this just entirely a metaphor about cars? I really thought this was going to be a safety video on kids shooting each other, not a tire advertisement.
Speed. Now let's put the Dual 90 to the same test. Not one bit of distortion.
Bro, the title of the program is called The Loaded Gun. How can this be the actual subject? Oh my God.
Though you may never drive over 60 miles an hour, Dual 90 gives you a safety margin you can't afford to miss. This won't happen to you or yours with General Dual 90s.
What, like, corny acting. I do think that was really funny.
Here's positive proof of self-sealing Strataseal in action.
Self-sealing Strataseal? Really? They had self-sealing tires back then? I don't believe it. We pay for road service if you have a puncture. Damn, that's cool. I wish they still did that. I wonder if they do. Probably not. That's a bit of a flex to say we are so confident in our tires that we'll fix it for you if you pop them. But like, people definitely abused that.
And it's backed up with Dual 90's celebrated service agreement. If you have a puncture, we'll pay the bill. You may never have to make a panic stop on a wet street. But if you ever do, the amazing...
Dang, see, that was an actual stunt. That's what's crazy, is like that was a kid on a bike that they told to just fall on the floor. Like, and he did. He actually fell and maybe hurt himself a little, maybe bruised his leg or something. But in film, like, that's a stunt, you know? Like, you can't just have a kid just to do that, you know?
Squeegee action of Dual 90's new tread design wipes the pavement dry to give itself the best possible surface for quick, safe stops.
It wipes the surface dry? Is that really real? Like, are these tires? It's funny. I didn't want to be learning about tires, but now I'm kind of getting interested. Like, that tire will wipe off the water and get to the dry surface below. I wonder. Like, it will have like a hydrophobic surface on it or something. I wonder how that's done. I wonder if our tires still have that sort of thing or no.
The toughest test you can possibly give a tire is the burst test, used by safety research groups to determine tire strength.
Oh, this will be cool. So they pressurize them until they burst. This should be fun at least. I can't believe this whole program. I can't get over it. Like, I really thought this was going to be about something else. I feel so bad for luring any of my viewers in to see this. But also, this is important for you guys to understand how little I actually know of what I'm watching. Like, I genuinely thought we'd be learning about gun safety today, not tire inflation safety.
5 leading brand tires are put to the test. All 5 are premium tires. All are in the same price bracket. All are the same size. The object of the test is to find out how much pressure it takes to blow out each tire. The acid test of tire strength.
The acid test of tire strength. I wonder what the acid test he's referring to. Like, clearly there's some sort of acid test that is so familiarized with the general public that you can just make reference to it and have everyone understand. But I don't know. I don't know what acid test he's referring to. So maybe in the comments, let me know what is this acid test? Am I a dumbass for not knowing what it is? Or is it like something that's been totally forgotten? Like, do any of you know what the acid test is with like no context clues? Let me know, please.
There goes the first one.
That's cool. That was a very big explosion, actually. Like, it just launched into the stratosphere. Like, it just zoomed out of frame. Like, I thought they would just go like, not go like into the air like that. So that was cool.
The second.
Yeah, these are like straight up missiles when they go off. That is crazy. That's very dangerous. Like, how do you know where it's gonna land, Like, these guys aren't wearing helmets or anything. Like, they might just be, or anything. They might just be nailed by a tire falling back to the earth,
The third. The fourth.
These are like pretty substantial explosions, to be honest. This feels like almost Hollywood-like.
Only the Dual 90 remains intact. Proof positive that Dual 90 is the strongest, sturdiest, safest of all 5 leading premium tires.
That is interesting. I wonder if that's like true. Like, obviously this is being made by the company advertising those tires. So like they could have just faked that, but I wonder if they did or not.
Whether you drive fast on expressways or slowly on the city streets.
Dude, look at this car though. Like, oh man, remember when cars used to look like this? There's so much character to a car like this.
The automobile has killed and maimed more people in the last 20 years than all the wars in American history.
The automobile has killed and maimed more American than all the wars in world history. More Americans, I guess, still. Like, that's not everyone. Definitely more people have died. Maybe not, actually. I wonder. I wonder if automobile accidents have actually killed more people than all of warfare. I wonder. But either way, that's interesting, that more Americans died from car crashes than going to war. That is a very interesting aspect of our society.
It's a loaded gun.
It's a loaded gun. Your car is a loaded gun. That is the thesis statement, or that is the idea behind the title of this program, is that your car is a loaded gun. Now I understand it at least. But I don't know. I really do not appreciate being tricked like that. I don't know. I feel real bad making you guys watch a tire commercial, honestly, for a red. Like, if this was a blue, I'd maybe let it rock. But, like, a red? Oh, man, I feel so bad. Like, this is not an interesting red.
Pointed squarely into the face of every other motorist you meet on the road.
That is true, though. Your car is a loaded gun pointed squarely at the face of everyone else on the road. Like, you can choose to kill anyone you want when you're in a car. Like, that is what they're implying by that. Like, you are at the control of a deadly weapon, and I feel like not a lot of people actually understand that. And it's interesting, I wonder how people felt towards cars back then, because I can definitely see some people being like nervous around cars because they didn't have them before this era. You know, cars definitely would go faster than horses. People definitely would naturally be scared of cars, but I can also see people not being scared of cars at all, like people having no concept of how dangerous cars actually are. So I wonder if people were more scared of cars or less scared of cars back then. Like, people weren't even wearing seatbelts. I would be scared. I would be actively scared riding in a car not wearing a seatbelt. But these people back then just didn't even have a care in the world about that sort of thing. So I wonder what the perception was. And I think it's interesting that this program is trying to educate people. Well, it's trying to sell people tires first and foremost, but secondarily, it's trying to communicate to people that driving is dangerous. Cars are dangerous, and we should treat them like a loaded gun. So that is interesting. I appreciate the metaphor. I don't appreciate being misled by the title and everything. Like, I know you guys were misled by this title as well, so I feel like, I don't know, I feel like you guys gotta feel the disappointment that I feel.
Don't you pull the trigger. While you've been watching this picture, 20 people have been killed or injured in automobile accidents.
Dang, that's crazy. What's crazy is that's 20 people back then. I wonder how many people have died through car accidents over the time that we've watched this. Probably like way more. Probably like 100 people have died or like gotten into car accidents, right? Like around the world, and not in the US specifically, but like I bet there have been a substantial number of automotive deaths over the time we've watched this, but maybe less. You know, maybe we figured out how to make cars safer. So I don't know if we've increased the number of automotive deaths per capita or decreased it. I think we've decreased it per capita, but we've also drastically increased our usage of cars, so it might have balanced out. I don't know.
May I suggest you put your car on General Dual 90s?
General Dual 90s. I'm gonna go into my mechanic and ask him for General Dual 90s. You guys should too. See what your mechanic will say if you ask for General Dual 90 tires.
The safest tires money can buy.
Tell the mechanic they're the safest tires money can buy. What's funny is our tires now are probably so much better than these tires. Like the amount of like material engineering, like our understanding of rubber, like I bet our tires are so much better already. All right, that's the end. A Jam Handy picture, a loaded gun, entirely about tires. Interesting. Yeah, there you go. All right, I feel like first and foremost, I got to apologize to all of you for kind of misleading you. I can only imagine what I pick for the thumbnail of this, but I have to imagine it's also going to be misleading a bit because I just don't see how the title relates to the actual subject material all that much. Again, Jam Handy just is weird with their titles and their subject material. Jam Handy is so hard to guess what they're actually going to be talking about, whereas Encyclopedia Britannica usually is just the exact subject that the title is. So these are always a little weird. I do feel bad for making you guys watch these, especially because it's a red. Like, reds are supposed to be like, you know, interesting, but this is literally just a commercial. Like, it's just advertising a brand of tire. I feel so dumb for even having picked this, but like, I guess it was interesting still. We did still see like safety precautions. Like, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I guess we did talk about kids dying, right? Like, this does, of all the categories, this still does seem red. No, this is totally a blue, though. Like, if I knew, this would have been a blue, but I guess it's red. Listen, all this footage of crashed cars, yes, that's going to be the thumbnail. These crashed cars, that's how I tell you guys what this is about so that you don't get that horribly misled. Is I think I'm going to try to make the thumbnail one of these crashed cars. You're welcome, by the way, for that. If you are watching this and you expected to be hearing about crashed cars, even though the title was The Loaded Gun, I did that on purpose so that you guys wouldn't be so disappointed by this, because I feel like you guys are not as disappointed disappointed by this as I am, because I really genuinely thought this was going to be about something else. So, I don't know. Sorry for misleading any of you guys. But really, I feel like Jam Handy should be apologizing to me, because I'm the one who actually watched this and got really disappointed. All I wanted to watch today was a couple of kids accidentally shooting themselves, and instead I watched a tire commercial. But I guess, whatever. My last thought on this is just how American of a presentation this was, right? The premise of the presentation is you have a loaded gun in your drawer, and that is kind of like the tires in your car. Like, we are trying to sell you something based on the idea that you have a loaded gun in your drawer. Like, just the fact that the sales pitch of this whole program, like the whole metaphor that it's constructed on, is you having a gun in your drawer, and that is like your car, and we're going to use your worries about your gun to sell you something. Like, there's so much like capitalism and like American gumption in this program that it's just like, it's so rich. This is such a slice of like American culture that I feel like it's worth noting, right? This is totally something American. Like, there is no other country that could have ever produced something like this. Like, this, all the problems, everything in this, every single comparison is just so totally American, because this really is so indicative of the society that it's coming from. It's almost comical how we used the metaphor of a loaded gun in this circumstance in order, again, to sell a product. It's just like, it's so American. That's all I have to say. Hopefully it was fun. Hopefully we learned something. I think I did learn something. I can't quite remember what it was, but I think I learned at least one thing from this, and I hope you guys did too as well. And if you did, and if you enjoyed watching and you would like to help support this channel, you can follow the link in the description that'll take you over to the Internet Archive. The Internet Archive is where I get all these old programs from, so if you want to support me, donate to them. And with that, I think we're ready to cut to black.